Alright, here we go. Welcome to the channel. I'm Will. On Twitter, on Twitter, I am Tutor, and I'm going to start doing some recordings of Magic Online. This is a standard deck, something silly I've been messing with. This is kind of a budget version. For example, I will have more Boros Reckoners in the final version if I have my way. But this is kind of a general idea of where we want to go. What does this deck do, and what are we kind of looking for with it? Right now, there are two big scary kinds of decks that I'm concerned with. The biggest and scariest right now is decks that use Burning Tree Emissary and other very aggressive 2-drops to play a really, really powerful game in which they have a lot of X2s and X1s in play by turn 2 or 3. So we need a way that we can block up the ground and stop all of those, ideally all at once. There's a card in Standard, probably the best way for dealing with that, that is Rolling Temblor. Rolling Temblor was from Innistrad, and basically it will deal 2 damage to everything that does not have flying. So, we want to find a deck where it's a good idea to, do 2 damage to everything with flying. However, if you're going to put in your main deck, that's really sacrificing something unless it does something to decks that don't have a lot of 2/2s on the ground. So, we want 2 damage to every creature without flying to do more than that. So where we started, the original idea was I wanted a deck that used High Priest of Penance because the card is so cool. So whenever he's dealt damage, I get to destroy a target non-land permanent. Obviously, unless I do something to help him survive, this will kill him. However, for now at least, I think that's okay. It still lets me get a 1-for-1 off of him. Plus, if a High Priest of Penance can destroy a Planeswalker, that's probably okay with me. Most of my other creatures are 3/3s. There are some exceptions which I'm considering getting rid of eventually. Or they get to come back for free when they die. I also have some early flyers so that they're not hit by it at all. Doom Traveler is really good here, I think, because not only does it come back after a Rolling Temblor, it can also block some of those really aggressive draws twice. I'm not positive on the War Falcon. I kind of like it because it can block all those 2/2s and also attack a decent amount, but it doesn't attack nearly as much as I'd like. I don't have a full set of Lingering Souls yet, which really is my own fault, and I just need to buy them. But I may upgrade my War Falcons to Lingering Souls eventually. I am a bit concerned with getting too bunched up on the 3-drop, though, so I would consider reducing some of my 3-drops if I did that. Angel's Jubilation, since we have a million low-drop creatures, is basically a white weenie aggressive deck, kind of. So anything that pumps all of my white creatures is going to be good. Plus, there's always a chance that I could somehow get 2 Angel's Jubilations out and some High Priest of Penance, and then I could start Rolling Tembloring without even losing the Priest. But that's, not our main game. Rider's Gabony can help me push through a little bit of damage. Zealous Conscripts is another human for a human count for things like Champion or Perish. It can survive a Rolling Tembler, and also it's really good at helping to get through that last bit of damage by stealing one of the creatures, or a Planeswalker. Obsidian Ghost Council is very, very good. I would be content to replace my Zealous Conscripts when I got down to it, if I had more of these. However, I've only drafted 1 so far, and that's kind of what I'm messing with. I know this is a budget version of the deck, but really I'm just testing this idea. I'm kind of trying to see which direction the deck should be in, so it's not worth buying all the way into the deck until I know exactly what the deck should look like. The lands, I still don't have the ideal mana base. I'm working on it. In the meantime, I've recently gotten some guild gates, so I'm going to try using those to kind of simulate it until I get more of the expensive lands. In the sideboard, I have Fiend Hunter. Fiend Hunter is also very good against that you know, 2/2 aggressive deck. Oblivion Ring helps. I've already got some in the main, but it can help deal with anything else that I can't otherwise. It's hard to play a white deck without playing at least some of these in your sideboard, just because you never know. There could be enchantments, there could be planeswalkers. Any of those cases is good to have. Rest in Peace obviously is good against any deck that has graveyard interactions. White has a lot of good, very specific answers, so it's not bad. Nearheath Pilgrim is good against any of that aggro mess. Curse of Death's Hold. Some decks will just fold if you get a Curse of Death's Hold on the board. So this is kind of just in case I see something that plays into it. I don't have a real specific plan of what I need it for. Burning Oil. Burning Oil is really good again against all those aggro decks. Harvest Pyre is for a combination. Harvest Pyre is if I don't know a better way to beat a deck, or if I play a control deck where I have all the time in the world and they might be trying to mill me, especially if they're trying to mill me, I can bring in Harvest Pyre. If I have a Boros Reckoner in play and 20 cards in my graveyard, Harvest Pyre will just kill them. There's very little they can do about it if they don't have a counter. Assemble the Legion is really my big plan against control decks. Witchbane Orb to some degree can be, depending on what they're doing with it. For example, I believe Drown Yards, Nephalia Drown Yards, targets a player, which means that this can really help take away one of their win conditions. Sundering Growth, I don't have many token creatures, so I'm sure I'll probably end up swapping this out eventually for something. But in the meantime, it is you know, it can get me a tapped-in token or something, or a Lingering Souls token, so it's not terrible. Let's go ahead and see what the deck looks like in play. Again, like I said, this is just a work in progress, so we're going to probably develop it as we test it.